Good evening, everyone. Today is the 27th of May, and here are some of the major headlines from the US markets. The reputation of black gold got more tarnished yesterday as a trifecta of trouble hit the oil industry. While environmental groups and activist investors have stepped up the pressure in recent years to address concern about climate change and fossil fuels, some of these historic defeats are being looked at as a watershed moment that will shift the oil and gas landscape. Shareholders, investment giants, and lawmakers are increasingly raising their voices about a sustainable future, while some even see the transition as a way to secure future profits given changing trends in the ESG world. Stock futures are pointing slightly lower this morning, keeping up with the trend seen this week of tepid gains and losses. Nasdaq futures are off by 0.5%, while contracts tied to the S&P 500 and Dow Jones are down by 0.3% and 0.1% respectively. The wavering of equities this week came as fears overrun inflation eased, but Fed taper talk picked up pace, resulting in mixed sentiment on the Wall Street. Equity markets are quiet as investors continue to anticipate the Fed's next move, said Mark Hackett, Chief of Investment Research at Nationwide. Amazon is putting up the big bucks in streaming wars, reaching a deal to acquire MGM for $8.45 billion. The purchase is the second largest in tech giant's history, behind its $13.7 million transaction for Whole Foods in 2017. With MGM, Amazon will get a library for more than 4,000 films, including franchises like James Bond and Rocky, classics such as The Silence of Lambs and 12 Angry Men, as well as critically acclaimed shows like The Handmaid's Tale. While Amazon hasn't had the massive creative successes seen at Netflix and newcomer Disney Plus, it does have the spending power to boost its position in the industry. On top of bolstering its Prime Video offerings, Amazon struck a recent deal with the NFL for exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football at a price of $1.2 billion a season over 11 years. In total, Amazon spent $11 billion on content last year, up from $7.8 billion in 2019. You may be getting a new bank account if you are still a customer at the HSBC. The company is ending its mass market retail banking business in US, selling much of its operations to Citizens Bank and Cathay Bank, as it pivots towards wealth management and international banking. The change of strategy means HSBC will go from 1.4 million customers to about 300,000 customers after expanding into US retail banking in 1980s to diversify its geographical focus. The bank will offload 90 of its 148 American branches and wind down another 35 to 40 locations. Two dozen other sites will be converted into international wealth centers that will only service the high net worth clients with balances over $75,000. HSBC will also sever ties with its retail business customers, meaning it will no longer transact with small businesses that have turnover of $5 million or less. HSBC is more than a year into an overhaul to refocus its operations in Asia, where it makes most of its profit and has pledged to invest about $6 billion over the next 5 years. Few other important headlines. Ford ups EV investments, targets 40% electric car sales by 2030. Gold closes above $1,900 as fundamentals have never been better. Coinbase sets up fact check to fight crypto misinformation. Amazon to make presence in physical pharmacy space. Jeff Bezos will hand Andy Jassy the Amazon reins on July 5th. Walmart to introduce first ever home collection from Gap. CureVac to finalize regulatory submission for COVID-19 vaccine. GM Lockheed hope to develop lunar rover for NASA. Some of the Wednesday key earnings. American Eagle up by 5.7% with teens heading back to the mall. Nvidia down by 0.9% after hours and as investors shook off a blowout report. Okta down by 2.8% after hour on CFO departure guidance miss. Snowflake down by 3.1% after hour despite raised product revenue forecast. Workday down by 1.1% after hour as the tech fell in an extended trade. Some of today's world market updates. In Asia, Japan down by 0.3%, Hong Kong down by 0.2%, China down by 0.4%, and India up by 0.2%. In Europe at midday, London down by 0.1%, Paris up by 0.5%, and Frankfurt down by 0.3%. In the futures market, Dow down by 0.1%, S&P down by 0.3%, and Nasdaq down by 0.5%. Crude down by 0.8% to $65.70. Gold down by 0.1% at $1,900 flat. Bitcoin down by 1.2% to $39,217, and 10-year Treasury yield up by 1 basis points to 1.58%. That's all for today's updates. Sign up for a zero-fee account on Kompound to start globally investing today. It can help you diversify, hedge, and build a truly global portfolio which can give you better returns in the long term as the winner keeps rotating. Kompound has an easy onboarding process, no account minimums, and you can invest in fractional stocks. Investors can choose from over 3,500 US stocks, global companies, and worldwide ETFs. Join the official Telegram channel of Kompound to get daily US and global market updates. All the links in the description below. Thank you.